Hello and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep. Welcome to the big news of the day. The topic for today is the Puri Rath Yatra that begins from today at the historic Puri Jagannath Temple. Considering the historical and cultural significance of this religious festival, it is important to understand this topic in detail as it can be very relevant for art and culture for both prelims and mains. But before we begin, let me remind you that as part of our weekly Explain series, tonight at 8 p.m., Sarbat sir is going to discuss and analyze the current political crisis in Maharashtra along with evaluating the anti-defection law. So don't miss to catch this session live today at 8 p.m. Now coming back to the big news of the day, the Puri Rath Yatra is in news because this historic religious procession is all set to begin from today and it happens to be one of India's biggest religious festivals. This festival, which is celebrated every year during the Ashada season, usually between the months of June and July, attracts a large number of devotees and is even marked in other parts of the world. This historic Rath Yatra or the Chariot festival is celebrated at the historic Puri Jagannath Temple that is associated with Lord Jagannath. See, the Jagannath Temple is located at Puri in Odisha along the east coast of India facing the Bay of Bengal, as you can see in this map over here. This temple happens to be one of the revered Vaishnava sites in India and is also part of the original Char Dham Yatra that comprises of other sacred religious sites distributed across India, including the Badrinath Temple at Uttarakhand, the Dwarkadish Temple at Dwarka in Gujarat, and the Ramanatha Swami Temple at Rameshwaram in Tamil Nadu. This historic temple at Puri is dedicated to Lord Jagannath, a form of Vishnu or Krishna. And even though there are a lot of historical and mythological references regarding this temple, the current version of the temple that sits at Puri is said to be built during the Ganga dynasty, particularly during the Choda Ganga dynasty. Its current construction has been attributed to King Anantavarman, and archaeological and historical evidence suggests that the temple was constructed in the 12th century. This has even been documented in the Kendupatna copper plate inscription, which was commissioned by Narsimhadeva, the descendant of Anantavarman. King Anantavarman of the Ganga dynasty was originally a Shaivite, but later converted to Vaishnavism after conquering the Utkal kingdom or the Utkal region that comprises of today's Odisha. So the construction of this temple is considered to have been started by King Anantavarman after conquering the Utkal region in the 12th century. This historic temple happens to be very unique even with regard to its architecture and iconography. At this temple, there are three deities that are worshipped, and this includes Jagannath, Balabhadra, and Subhadra. Now, this is very unique because Lord Jagannath, a form of Krishna or Vishnu, is often worshipped with his wife. But this is the only temple where Lord Jagannath is worshipped with his siblings, Balabhadra and Subhadra. And the temple is also unique because these idols, which are present in the inner sanctum of the temple, they're not made of stone, and instead they are made out of sacred neem logs or wooden logs. And these wooden idols are referred to as daru, and they are seen to be sitting on an ornately designed bejeweled platform called the Ratna Bedi. These wooden deities are adorned with different colored clothing and jewels, which you can see in this image over here. The worship of these deities is believed to predate the construction of the temple itself and is believed to have originated in ancient tribal customs and rituals. Now, this annual Ratha Yatra at Puri Jagannath Temple is very unique because this is the only temple where the deities are taken out of the temple and they are made to travel to the devotees so that devotees of all age and devotees of all sections can access and worship the deities. This historical religious procession happens to be the largest chariot procession in the world and even attracts a massive crowd every year. For the Rath Yatra, these deities are placed on large wooden chariots which are pulled by the crowds. And this phenomena even gave birth to the English term Juggernaut, which was coined during the colonial times. Juggernaut, which refers to something that is unstoppable, refers to the massive chariots that roll down the streets and is also seen as a symbolic reference to the powers of Lord Jagannath. During the Rath Yatra, the chariot procession begins with three massive multi-wheel chariots that you can see depicted in this image, and each chariot is dedicated to one of the sibling deities. These wooden chariots are mini architectural marvels by themselves, as they are handmade by a family which has hereditary rights over them, and they are constructed over a period of 42 days by using more than 4,000 pieces of wood. Each chariot is dedicated to one of the deities, and each chariot has a different number of gigantic wheels that signifies the importance of these deities. These chariots are also decorated with different clothing, jewels, and paint to symbolize each of the deities, and they are pulled by worshippers by using a long rope that is attached to the chariot. This historical procession finds a mention in various Puranas as well, but the earliest literary evidence dates back to 10th or 11th century, which was documented during the rule of the Somavanshi dynasty. This literary record talks of a yatra of Lord Purushottama or Jagannath that was held near the seashore of the Utkal region. Then the earliest iconographical evidence of the Rath Yatra is from the Ganga dynasty from the 13th-14th century, where a frieze or a type of a mural painting found at a temple at Dhanmandal in northern Odisha depicts the Rath Yatra along with the chariots that are being drawn by the devotees. This frieze or mural painting acts as an iconographical evidence, and it depicts multi-wheeled chariots with gigantic wheels and spokes, which are intricately designed and ornated, as you can see over here. And the unique feature of the chariots is that they have unique mantapas with typical thoranas and ratha roofs or pyramidal endings with the kalasas at the top. The frieze also shows two chatras or umbrella-like structures at the top depicting the royal status of the deities that are carried in these chariots. Apart from the historical, cultural and religious significance of the Rath Yatra, it is also said to have a spiritual significance. Because the Rath Yatra is considered to signify and symbolize life's long journey towards nirvana or moksha. This even finds a mention in the Upanishads, where the chariot is a symbolic representation of the body, and the yatra or the journey is a representation that we undertake as a part of life, birth, and death. The Katha Upanishad mentions that if the body is the chariot, then the soul and the mind are the charioteers, and the soul undertakes a lifelong journey by using the body as a chariot, and even the horses that are part of the chariot depict the various sensory organs, which allows the soul, body, and mind to experience various aspects of life. Through the body as a chariot, the soul and mind experiences the life's journey of birth to death and finally reaches the destination, which in various philosophies and cultures is referred to as moksha, salvation, or nirvana. So, on this note, let's conclude the discussion. And if you found the initiative to be helpful, do let us know by pressing the like button and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.